Unexplained lights in the skies, haunting screams in abandoned asylums, people disappearing into thin air, whispers of encounters that chill you to the bone. Are they just myths, or is there something more? I'm Austin, and these are the Spook Files. Deep in the heart of Poland, a legend whispers of a vanished treasure. A Nazi train, laden with stolen gold, vanished into the shadows of history. Some say it lies hidden, a phantom of the past waiting to be found. This is the Spook Files, and today, we're diving into the mystery of the Nazi gold train. As the Nazi regime swept across Europe, their campaign of terror was matched by relentless plunder. Gold, art, precious treasures, vanishing into their grasp. When the war ended, a frantic hunt began to recover these stolen legends. Decades later, thousands upon thousands of masterpieces remain lost, including the legendary Amber Room. Even today, 80 years later, we are still recovering lost pieces of art once stolen by the Nazis. But could a hoard of these treasures be sitting on a hidden train just waiting to be found? For 80 years, whispers have persisted of the Nazi gold train, an armored leviathan of a train said to carry unimaginable wealth. As the war neared its end and as the Soviets closed in, legend tells of a train filled with treasures, art, gold, and maybe even the infamous Amber Room, filled to be hidden away, to be kept away from the Soviets, and to be recovered by the Nazis in the future. In Poland, city banks were empty, and witnesses claimed to have seen an armored train full of treasures. The Nazis routinely shipped valuables by rail, as evidenced by the infamous Hungarian gold train. The idea is completely plausible, yet, since the war's end, searches for the train have yielded nothing. Only obsessive searches by treasure hunters and countless theories. As one local to a Polish town where the train was thought to be said, it is the perfect story. Nazis, hidden treasures, trains, and hidden tunnels. Historians say that there is no proof that the train even existed. Yet, for 80 years, the mystery of the Nazi gold train endures. Is it a myth fabricated out of desperation? Or does it lie buried, waiting for someone to find it? Let's examine the theories. The first theory is, of course, the most skeptical and most boring. This theory simply states the gold train is pure legend. It never existed. Most people who believe in this theory cite the fact that there are, of course, no documents stating that the train ever existed. And there is no proof that it existed other than eyewitness testimonies, which are, of course, unreliable. Now, our second theory is that town in Poland where the banks were emptied and, of course, where the eyewitnesses were. According to this theory, the train was loaded up, filled with gold and other treasures. It was then driven a short distance outside of the city and into a train tunnel. Shortly after, the tunnel was purposely collapsed. The train sealed inside to deny the Soviets the riches. In 2015, two treasure hunters believed that they had actually found this tunnel using ground-penetrating radar. And while they did get permission to dig for it, unfortunately, after a few years in 2018, they called off the search. While indicating they still believed the train existed and they believed that they had found the right location, one of the partners believed that the dig had not been conducted correctly or dug deep enough. And apparently, infighting between the two partners led to delays in a second dig, causing the pair to split up and the project to be canceled. Our next theory is the castle connection. You see, the Nazis loved to seize property, and of these properties that they seized, some of the biggest ones were to be turned into command centers for Hitler and other top Nazi officials to oversee the war while traveling. During this time, the Nazis seized Poland's third largest castle, intending for it to be one of those operation centers for Hitler. And they even constructed a vast tunnel network beneath it, part of the mysterious Project WWII. Some believe that the train may have been sealed up in a tunnel under the castle. This would have allowed it to be hidden from the Soviets, but kept in a safe place that the Nazis could come back to later, as they believed that they would retake the area and retake the castle. Now, the Owl Mountains were also part of Project WWII. The mountains are riddled with unfinished Nazi tunnels, many of which are flooded or filled with deadly gases. The sheer scale of this complex is really unimaginable, and it makes a complete search impossible. You see, while much of the complex that has been uncovered is mapped, to this day, they are still finding tunnels that have been collapsed or filled in. And of course, as mentioned before, due to the flooding or the deadly gases, these tunnels are often not explorable. So what is inside them remains a mystery. Now, the complex itself is also mysterious, with some believing it was meant to be an underground factory or even for underground atomic weapon research. Due to the scale and mystery surrounding it, many believe the train could be lying in wait somewhere in the Owl Mountains. Now, one final theory does exist. As this was towards the end of the war, as the Soviets were closing in, this theory states that many of the soldiers became disgruntled. They could sense the oncoming defeat and sabotaged their own train, vanishing with its cargo and riches. Now, if the train was real, what did it carry? You see, most people believe that it was gold, which is why it is of course called the Nazi gold train. They believe that it held up to 300 tons of gold. Others believe that it contained precious art that is still missing today. Some are even bold enough to claim it held the Amber Room itself. However, others believe that if the Owl Mountains were to host atomic research, that the train was filled with materials to create atomic weapons. Others believe that while the train did exist, it was just carrying standard weapons and armor. The Nazi gold train obsession continues to be fueled as tunnels are unearthed in the area and as stolen art is still being recovered in other parts of Europe. The truth may remain buried in the shadows of history. Do you believe the Nazi gold train is real? Let us know in the comments down below. The world is a strange and mysterious place. What we encounter tonight serves as a reminder. There's more to this reality than we understand. Keep your eyes open, question the shadows, and remember, the truth may be closer than you think. Until next time, stay curious, stay spooky, and good night.